Okay, we are in off-season bump mode. There are no bumps, no teases, no music videos. We're straight business here on Up and Adams, where we get to welcome and get to know all SEC center from the University of Kentucky, Eli Cox. It is wonderful to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I have this feeling about you, Eli. I really do. I was getting prepped for this interview, watched obviously your combine performance, your pro day, which was about a week ago. I think you're going to be the best story of this draft class looking back in 5 years. Do you have that feeling also?
I mean, I'd hope you're right.
Well, you were a homegrown kid out of Kentucky, 10 minutes from Kroger Field. Your parents, John and Catherine, longtime season ticket holders, all of that. That's the beginning of this story. And how are you feeling about having to end that chapter of your career, of your life?
Yeah, I think it was a little bittersweet. I spent 6 years there. I grew up right around campus, grew up with season tickets, like you said. And, I absolutely loved every second I was at Kentucky. But, 6 years, and now I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life. I'm really excited about what the NFL has in store for me and trying to put my best foot forward in that next chapter. But I'll always cherish the University of Kentucky and very appreciative of everything they did for me.
If you could write a book entitled "How Do I Have One of the Best Combines Ever for the Future Generations," what would that book say? What would be the message there? Because you did that this year.
Yeah, I think part of it goes back to just the pre-draft training. Me and my agency, Casey Merritt Octagon, we really took a while to decide where we wanted to spend that pre-draft training process. And so we ended up going with X3 Performance in Fort Myers. Shout out Jordan Llewellyn. So I went down there and spent the greater part of 8 weeks there prepping. And I think, they have a really comprehensive approach to everything that you have to do there. And it's such a niche thing that you have to do at the combine. It's not super reliant on things you do on the football field as a center. So being able to just focus on those things, because it's a big job interview. You have to do well. You have to be able to play the game that it is. And I think they prepared me very, very well, being able to go down there and focus on this 4-day stretch in Indianapolis over 8 weeks and really work on the details, practice those jumps, the way you want to take off on your 40, improving all the explosion, the change of direction, things like that.
I see what the combine and your pro day have done for you in NFL circles. How have you noticed that? How would you describe how things have shifted for you in the draft process since the combine?
Yeah, I just think it was a good opportunity to show teams my athleticism. That's really what it's about. And, you going back and watch my film from Kentucky, we were a heavy inside run team, heavy counter type of team, ran a lot of duo inside zone. And so being able to show teams that I have that stuff on tape, I can do that on film, but also showcase the athleticism that I can be a center that fits in a wide zone scheme. I can go reach a 2-eye, reach a nose guard, get to the second level and block, I think is really important for guys that play my position. So I think it was a really good opportunity for me to showcase the other aspect and the other schematics that I can fit into as a player.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully to Kentucky and the way they run things, like you weren't exactly used to your best of your strengths, I think there. I think we're going to see an entire part of why I think you're the best story over the next 5 years, wherever you go. And I think I know where you're going to go. We'll get there. We'll get there. But I think you'll unleash this other layer. You also have some versatility to your game. Let's talk about that. You played guard early in your career. Then you finished your career as the 2-time all SEC center. Do you see yourself exclusively as somebody who's at center, or is there versatility available at this next level?
Yeah, I think the versatility is definitely there. I started 9 games in my career. My first time ever really playing was at right guard when we had another all SEC center playing for us. So I think I'm a guy that can play all three inside, and I can do it reliably. Center is just kind of where I fell in the last couple of years at Kentucky. I think it was a place I could use my leadership role in the team, and that leadership role in the offensive line room is at that position. But I think I'm a guy that can really contribute to a team at any 3 spots inside.
Eli, how old are you?
I'm 24.
You're 24. We couldn't find your age anywhere. It was sort of
Yeah.
crazy. We literally we're scouring the internet for it. You talk about, I mean, you have so much experience, right? So many reps, which is huge. You mentioned being a leader there. It's kind of like being a center is, you've got a lot on your shoulders. You got to keep your quarterback happy. You have to have like a very specific relationship with them. Of course, you've had that through Will Levis and some of the other quarterbacks that you protected and worked with. How would you describe what an NFL team is getting as a man? I mean, I was looking at your Instagram and I was like, we need to check his birth certificate. This is a grown man here entering the NFL. What are you bringing in terms of that?
Yeah, I think one thing I've told a lot of teams in interviews that what you're going to get from me is just a consistent presence. I'm I'm a grown up guy. I've been around for a while, and I just always want to tell guys and teams that I'm going to be a consistent presence with my attitude and my effort on and off the field. You
Mm.
know what you're going to get from me every single day. I'm not going to be a what if or an X factor, hoping you get the best version. I'm just going to give you the best version of myself every day. And however that can contribute to wins for a football team, I'll be ready to do it.
Uh, I can't wait to see you on this next level. What, whenever you're drafted, if you're drafted, whatever, I think you're going to crush. We're talking about versatility, guard, center. You also do this thing that I just love that we have to talk about, and you score touchdowns. And you did it against my team. You just heard Tom Crean talking about Missouri. Will you walk me through this moment in 2021, please?
Yeah, so we're just running like an inside zone play to the left here. And it's funny, if you ask our line coach at the time, Coach Wolford, if I would have just blocked the linebacker a little better, I wouldn't have had to recover a fumble to score. But no, I was supposed to be blocking 11. He's the guy that ends up stripping that football. So I was in the vicinity and I just saw it and had to jump on it. And luckily, at the bottom of that pile, I was able to keep it. It was a little bit of chaos down there.
I like it. I hate it because it's, you dive between three Mizzou defenders to scoop it up, but you had the awareness, like you're saying, to see the ball hit the ground. You did your thing, and that was the death blow. That was the game-winning
Yeah.
touchdown as Kentucky beat Mizzou. So you've got that going on, which I like as well. I was curious, like who you looked up to, or whose story sort of reminds me of yours. And I'm like, I'm sure that he loves Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey drafted in the 6th round, does his thing, whatever. But no, you're a Frank Ragnow guy, an absolute animal. What's that story?
Yeah, I just Thursdays during our football week is kind of when I found time to watch some NFL tape, and so you always end up watching the offensive lines that are performing well
Yeah.
in a group that almost does every year is the Lions. And Ragnow's been to multiple Pro Bowls. Just the way he plays the game, the consistency that he shows on tape, I think he's just a really good football player and kind of have some of the same size attributes. So being able to just watch, if I can watch a Pro Bowl football player and just take one thing that he does well and try to emulate it, like that just makes me a much better
Mm.
football player. And so I always just try and pick up little things because these guys have so much experience and different techniques and little things that they do with their offhand, their snap hand, the way they step and how they approach different nose guards and shades and different alignments. So just trying to pick up on little things that they do on film that I can hope to just pick up one or two things and make my game a little better.
I just see him and I see gritty, little like unhinged. Love how he plays and what he's doing for Detroit. TV break right here. We're still talking to Eli Cox out of Kentucky about his versatility, about what he's bringing to an NFL team, about this big jump because you are passing the tests in the biggest moments. Big question for you. What is your Waffle House order?
My Waffle House order.
Yep.
I'm probably going to go with the Texas patty melt to start things off, and then a chocolate chip waffle.
Okay, I love that. Cosign. I'm asking you because I have in my head you're going to Jacksonville. I've made my mind up this morning. I'm the football gods are with me. It's too cute. You have too many connections. It's like a Disney story here that we're talking about. And let's go over some of them. You know Jack's coach now, Liam Cohen. He had 2 stints with Kentucky with their offensive as the offensive coordinator. I need your help here. I need intel from you because all of the NFL world right now knows about Liam outside of all the success that he's had, of course, is that Duval clip, him introducing himself, whatever. Fill in the blanks for me on what makes Liam Cohen tick.
I think just football, X's and O's is what he's all about. The guy lives and breathes it. One thing I think he was always really good at is, he has that offensive scheme that he kind of comes from that McVay and Shanahan tree. But what he does
Yeah.
really well is he's adaptable to what his guys do well. And I think you saw last year in Tampa, they kind of got out of that mid zone, wide zone emphasis, and they were really good at running the counter, the gap, the inside duo plays. And I think that's something he does really well is he's not too prideful of what he likes to run, but he always emphasizes on calling plays that puts his players in the best position, adapting the scheme to what his players are good at. And I think he's going to have a lot of success in Jacksonville.
Those Shanahan tree teams, Eli, in the NFL thrive off wide zone with athletic linemen.
Yeah,
I feel like you might be a good fit there. What do you think?
I'd be more than happy to do it.
When's the last time you talked to Liam?
Probably when they were in Tampa. I remember reaching out to him when the hurricanes were going through there, just making sure he and his family was all right. But he's been a little preoccupied since he left Kentucky, and I don't blame him.
Your boy Luke Fortner's also in Jacksonville. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a great teammate of mine.
Their starting center just retired too. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's something.
How would you feel about protecting Trevor next year?
I'd be more than happy to protect any quarterback they let me.
And here you like to be a sports broadcast. You answer questions very politically correctly, which I appreciate. And you're doing all the right things. Is it true you want to be a sports broadcaster?
Yeah, I think that would be top tier jobs I'd love to do. Get to travel around all these different football stadiums and get paid to talk about football, which I do almost in all my free time anyway.
Are you a basketball guy? Are you tracking Kentucky?
I've always tracked Kentucky a little bit. I think growing up here in the 8 national championships, Rupp Arena, it's hard not to follow that stuff.
Tell me why they're going to beat Troy on Friday.
I believe in Coach Pope. I think they got a good team. I think Lamont Butler's going to be healthy, so getting him back will be huge. And I believe in that team. I think they play well, and obviously the three ball is important nowadays in college basketball, and they do it well. So hopefully they can make a good push here in the tourney.
You've got the sports broadcasting thing, you've got the on-field thing, and a great story behind you. I read that your hidden talent is photoshopping. What does that even mean? What?
So that was the questionnaire I filled out my freshman year of college. I don't have a whole lot of hidden talents, so I had a class in high school my senior year that was very important to my education and receiving my diploma. So I took a Photoshop class, and that was something that not a lot of people could do. I have no idea how to use it anymore, but 19-year-old me thought that was cool.
I just really love that that's what you said. And I mean, did you use it for this thing? We have a picture of you from freshman to senior. What do you make of this of this change and growth? I love this.
It kind of looks like you use Photoshop. No, I grew up a lot in my time at Kentucky. So, I was 19 when I showed up, and I'm leaving when I'm 24. And so a lot changed. I grew up a lot, met my wife, and worked hard in the
Yes.
weight room. And so I'm very grateful for the time I had there.
Bringing all that experience to the NFL. If you could go back and give freshman Eli a piece of advice, what do you think?
I would just tell him, be patient, keep working hard. I got to Kentucky in a really crowded offensive line room. The big blue wall was the thing, and had a ton of seniors that were really good. And, it wasn't the portal era, so there wasn't just leaving for opportunities elsewhere. And so part of it was just staying patient, keep working hard, and to know that your time's going to come when you're ready, and just make the most of it when you get the opportunity.
And it's coming next month. Nice to meet you, Elon Cox. We will be back tomorrow. Thanks, Eli.
All right. Thank you.